welcome to the spoiler talk for Spider-Man Far From Home. If you haven't seen the movie, I don't know why you're here unless you don't mind spoilers, because man, do I have some stuff that I gotta get off my chest about this movie. Right off bat, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. It was exhilarating, it was fun. I got a lot of the stuff that I wanted to see from Spider-Man for sure. And yeah, we just got a lot to talk about, so yeah. Okay, so there's a lot to talk about in this movie, so for the sake of time, I'm just going to talk about 4 main things. That being Spider-Man, Mysterio, action, and the ending. I think a good place to start, of course, is with Spider-Man, the man himself. So I actually only have just one gripe about this movie, and that has to do with Iron Man. I feel like there's just a little bit too much Iron Man in the movie for me personally. Iron Man has had a huge influence on Spider-Man in the MCU. Okay, not even that. He's had a huge influence on the MCU in general. Like, there's been so many major events that has happened in the MCU. Like, Avengers 2 was pretty much Tony's problem. You know, he created the problem, and then it was just about that. So, a lot of major events has happened because of Tony. And especially since Avengers Endgame was the last movie, you know, right before this one, and he died in that movie, yeah, we're definitely going to get a lot of his influence in this movie. Not as much as it was in Spider-Man Homecoming, where I personally felt took away from it being a Spider-Man movie. This one was definitely more of a Spider-Man movie, for sure. But there was still just a little bit too much Iron Man in there for me. Enough for me to say, hey, I could dial it back a bit. You know, I don't like it when people came to Spider-Man and said, we need you to step up. It's time. The world needs the next Iron Man. We're looking for more heroes, and we think that could be you. Okay, I don't want Spider-Man and Iron Man to be compared. Spider-Man is Spider-Man and Iron Man is Iron Man. That whole conversation that Happy had with Spider-Man could have been better. It could have been saying something along the lines of, hey, you know, Tony didn't want you to be him. He wanted you to be better than him. He didn't expect you to be Iron Man. He expected you to be you. He expected you to be Spider-Man. You know, let's say I am Spider-Man. That's what I want. That's what I want right there. I just want it down pat. But I definitely think after this movie, it's just going to be a lot more Spider-Man focused. I honestly think that this movie was a send-off for Iron Man. I think we're actually done with most of the Iron Man influence in the MCU. I do think this was a send-off. But yep, that's my only gripe. That was it. And time to talk about the good things that I really, really liked about this movie. So I really liked Tom Holland's performance as Spider-Man in this movie. I think, once again, you know, he nails it. I think he's a great Peter Parker. He's funny. I loved all his jokes, and I left an entire category just for action because action deserves its own category, especially the way that they portrayed Spider-Man. Again, not gonna talk about action right here. But no, Peter Parker, I definitely feel like he was more of a Spider-Man in this movie. Even though you know the narrative of the movie at first was, okay, I just want to be a normal teenage kid, and definitely by the end of it, especially when he starts fighting Mysterio, I don't know, something about it, something about his demeanor, something about the way he was moving and acting. It was telling me like, oh yeah, he's Spider-Man. And definitely moving forward in the rest of the MCU, the next time we see Spider-Man, I already know what we in for. He's a man now. He's a man, and I'm with it. Okay, so on to Mysterio. I am both happy with what they did with Mysterio and sad that we don't get a multiverse. They stayed very close to the comics, I think. You know, in the comics, Mysterio is a special effects guy who lies a lot and, you know, tries to show himself off as a hero. Very similar to what they did in this movie. And, you know, it just kind of sucks because in the commercials and trailers, they were hyping up the multiverse, and that brought up a lot of theories as to how we could get, you know, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and just a whole bunch of other crazy stories. And it turns out that was a lie. It was a lie by Mysterio, and you know, it was, to me, very Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal killed the performance. It's very unfortunate that, you know, he had to kill himself, or not kill him. Well, yeah, he did kind of kill himself. You know, the drone, or Edith said, if you do this drone strike, you're in the vicinity, you might get shot, and, you know, ended up killing himself. But anyway, it's just kind of sad that we don't get to see him again, because I really liked him. He's actually probably one of my favorite villains of the MCU, if not my, like, oh man, he was just a great villain, and it was very Mysterio. I never thought I'd be excited for Fishbowl Head, but the way that they had him, he was very intimidating. When he was ready to say, hey, you know, I'm gonna kill Spider-Man, he was really about it and was really about to try to kill Spider-Man. So yeah, Mysterio, 10 out of 10, easy. Finally, on to action. Oh my gosh, was the action in this movie amazing. So I'm just gonna start talking about the huge monster fights. I've never been a huge fan of big monster type fights, so in the commercials and stuff, I wasn't really excited to watch Spider-Man fight the Elementals. That being said, the way that Spider-Man was fighting them was amazing. They made him use his super strength, they made him use his webs, and it just looked great. You know, he was throwing debris at them, he was holding up the pieces of the buildings and stuff. It showed off Spider-Man's strength, it showed how Spider-Man maneuvers, and it also showed how hard of a hit Spider-Man can take. You know, so I feel like that was important to show. Again, he's had some really good fights in the MCU for sure. You know, again, he's fought Thanos. He's gone against his, you know, Thanos' men. But, you know, to watch the way that he was fighting in this movie, especially against those giant monsters, it was really fun. It was entertaining, a lot more entertaining than I was going to give it credit for. And I liked it. Especially his fight with what's his name, Molten Man. His fight with Molten Man, or, you know, if you just want to call it an elemental. It was really well done. It was really well done. Again, I just loved the way he was just using his super strength, throwing debris at him, dropping stuff on him. It was really cool. All right, so what I really want to talk about is his first fight with Mysterio. Starting off when he was first walking into the Shield headquarters as what we thought, and when everything just started turning into this holographic digital landscape, it was terrifying. It was scary. It was dope. And immediately I was like, oh snap. Mysterio's illusions are tight. It was tight. And it made me think, like, Mysterio is a villain that is very specifically designed for Spider-Man. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Just let's stay focused on this first fight where Mysterio's really getting into his head and using the drones to shoot him and you know, freak him out. I loved watching him, like, turn around and punch something, and then it turns out it was like a wall, or he would run, jump off of something, then hit the ground, because, you know, it was messing with his mind, it was messing with his perspective. You know, he got in his head about, you know, if you were better, you could have saved Iron Man and all that. Again, don't really want to talk about Iron Man in here because it's Spider-Man, but still, again, huge influence. I was actually hoping that grave that he was seeing wasn't Iron Man. I was really hoping that it was Uncle Ben. I was like, please give me some Uncle Ben in this. Show me that, you know, he's part of the influence of Spider-Man. But whatever. Either way, that fight was amazing. It was amazing. It really wasn't much of a fight. It was just more of just watching Mysterio mess with him. And that's what I love about it. I love that so much. It made Mysterio immediately just one of the most intimidating characters. And then to just end it off by with Spider-Man getting hit by a train, which my boy took like a champ. My boy took that hit like a champ. Woo! But that fight, that was amazing. One of the best fights. One of the best fights for sure. Alright, so that last fight scene was just incredible. It was just incredible. Spider-Man did everything I think Spider-Man would do. When I think of Spider-Man action, I think, okay, I want to see web swinging, I want to see super strength, I want to see spider sense, and that last fight gave it all to me. Starting off with him fighting all the drones and stopping the illusion from happening, and then just Mysterio sicking them all on him, and then him just maneuvering and shooting and using his webs as barriers, or just webbing them up and throwing them around. It was just the dopest thing ever. It was Spider-Man. It was Spider-Man action. Gosh, I gotta see this movie a second time. One of my favorite parts during that fight, he stuck his feet to a car and then webbed the sides of the bridge, pulled himself up while holding on to the car with his feet, and then letting go with his feet and dropping the car on a bunch of drones. It was just so cool. It was just so cool. Oh my gosh, it was just cool. Him swinging around, and the way that they showed his swinging was some of the best web swinging to me out of the movies. It was just so smooth. Everything flowed so well. Him going underneath the bridge and hitting the water because his suit was kind of on fire. That's another thing. I love it when the suits get kind of messed up during a fight. You know, that's something that the Sam Raimi trilogy got done really well. I love the broken, the broken eye and the ripping in the suit. This movie had that. His new suit, which looked beautiful. I did like the way that it was looking ripped up after fighting a bunch of drones. And oh my goodness. Okay. When he finally was able to get to Mysterio, and Mysterio started casting another illusion, and my boy closes his eyes. He closes his eyes and uses his spider sense. That is such a Spider-Man move when fighting Mysterio. Him closing his eyes and just trusting himself and using his spider sense is super cool. Spider-Man can fight with his eyes closed. I'm trying to think what other hero could have done again in that situation. Now, I could think of some ways that Iron Man and other characters could beat Mysterio in that situation, but Mysterio is kind of a villain designed to fight Spider-Man. Spider-Man has his spider sense that counteracts the illusions, and it just, the way that they showed it was just perfect. It was so perfect. One of my favorite fights in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. One of my favorite fights in superhero movies, hands down. It was just so amazing. It was just so amazing. I can't wait to go watch that movie again, to be honest. That movie is, it gave me so much of what I wanted. Thank you. Alright, lastly, let's talk about that ending. Mysterio, bro, you are so petty, dude. You really gave up this man's secret identity in your death. Why would you do that? For that reason, I think Spider-Man 3 is going to be solely just focused on Spider-Man. No matter what, we're still going to get, Happy in there and stuff, helping out. S.H.I.E.L.D. knows the truth, so I don't think we're going to have that on them. But definitely going forward, especially in Spider-Man 3, it's going to be Spider-Man dealing with this problem, and which is going to create a very interesting narrative. I am so excited to see what happens, but Mysterio, that was wrong. That was wrong. But oh man, they gave us J.K. Simmons, y'all. They they gave J.K. Simmons the role of J. Jonah Jameson back. And it just makes sense because nobody else could do it like him. Nobody else could be J. Jonah Jameson like him. And I'm just so happy that they did that. I was like, yes, I love it. I love it so much. Oh yeah, this is Spider-Man 3 is going to be amazing Spider-Man. I can't wait. Yeah, but alright, y'all, that's gonna do it for this video. What did you guys think of Spider-Man Far From Home? Like, seriously, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. These are just my thoughts, my opinions. Did you feel like this was a right amount of Iron Man? Did you want, more mention of Iron Man? What'd you guys think of the action? Did you love it like I did? Did you think it could have been better? Anything. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. So please hit that like button. Please leave me a comment. Yeah, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.